Amongst living directors, few have as consistent a resume as Paul Thomas Anderson. There are lots of great directors out there, but even many of the best ones have a couple of stinkers in their filmography somewhere. Across his 9 films, Anderson hasn't really missed so far, so trying to separate his films into a ranking is a bit of a game of inches, but it's a challenge I'm willing to undertake. So in honor of his new film, One Battle After Another, hitting cinemas this week, today I'll be ranking all of PTA's movies from my least favorite to my favorite. Let's get into it. At the bottom, in 9th place, I've got Inherent Vice. Now as established, even PTA's worst film is not inherently bad. This one is just the least interesting of all of them, in my opinion. As we'll talk about, PTA's movies are very vibey and atmospheric, and this is the one that feels the most reliant on vibes and atmosphere. Is it meant to be a bit confusing and all over the place? Probably. It's a semi-parody of / homage to detective films. I'm pretty sure the Joaquin Phoenix character is zooted out of his mind for most of this movie. But I can't shake the memory of being about 2 hours into this and just snapping out of it for a sec and thinking, wait, what is actually going on here? It's beautifully shot, got some great performances, technically excellent, of course, just the film of his that I found to be the most forgettable, and I am the least interested in revisiting. Next up, I've got his most recent film before One Battle After Another, Licorice Pizza. This was actually my first PTA movie, I'm pretty sure. I saw it in the cinema when it came out, and at the time, I hated it. I didn't think it was funny, I thought it was similarly kind of confusing in its meandering ways, and I did think the age difference thing was weird. Recently, in anticipation of making this video, I rewatched it, and I liked it much, much more, though some of my problems remain. In terms of the humor, I thought it was much funnier this time around. I don't think I really appreciated the quirky PTA sense of humor when I first saw it, but there were multiple times where I laughed out loud rewatching it. I think the performances are wonderful. There's something quite sweet about PTA directing Cooper Hoffman after working with his father for so many years, and also you can see Philip Seymour Hoffman in this kid's eyes. He does a great job here generally, as does Alana Haim. I also didn't mind the meanderingness of it this time. Yes, it is a little long, and the then this happens style of it does wear a tad thin. That is one consistent thing with PTA movies. They are sometimes maybe slightly indulgent, but I also don't think I really understood the concept of this type of movie when I first saw it. A movie without much of a story, basically. But now having seen many Linklater films, Nashville, this is kind of one of my favorite genres, and this is a good example of that kind of movie. Those movies rely a lot on vibe and atmosphere, and PTA captures the 70s valley aesthetic really well here. It's a cozy, nostalgic feeling movie. It gives you a bit of that feeling of, remember when you were younger and a teenager and had your first crush on a 28-year-old woman? Yeah, okay, the age difference thing is still a bit odd. Considering it's a love story between a 28-year-old and a 15-year-old, it's impressive it isn't more creepy or distracting. It does a good job of getting you wrapped up in the vibe and the sweetness. They have good chemistry. Her lost in life as an older person vibe meshes well with his youthful but full of ambition vibe. But, I don't know, when they kiss at the end, it's still a 28-year-old character and a 15-year-old character, no matter how fun they are together or how cozy the movie is. That being said, overall, I enjoyed it a lot more on the rewatch. Pretty fun movie. Then at number 7, I've got PTA's debut film, Hard 8. Hard 8 is honestly kind of a banger, don't have too many complaints. It feels very much like a debut film, almost like a student film, but in a good way. It doesn't have the technical incompetence of a student film, but it has the excitement. You can tell this is someone who's hungry to be making movies, and is amped up at the chance to do so, and kinda wants to show off. And I also just really enjoy tight movies like this. Films that are simple in structure and story, but are well thought out, well paced, well executed. For a debut, there are a lot of impressive elements here, like the performances. Philip Baker Hall, as always, is great, as are John C. Reilly and Sam Jackson, and low-key, is this a career best performance for Gwyneth Paltrow? I'll be honest, I have never really been particularly impressed by Gwyneth Paltrow as an actress. She's always been good and totally functional, but I would never say like, man, what a Gwyneth Paltrow performance. But here, she really is excellent. She captures the pride, but the insecurities and immaturity of this troubled character really well. Again, there isn't a ton of movie to work with, and she does a lot with the time she has. That's the essence of it, really. The movie uses its real estate really well. Nothing feels wasted. It's like a screenwriting exercise done really well. There are a couple moments that feel like when you're reading a screenplay, and the screenwriter clearly thinks they're pretty smart, and towards the end it does get a little goofy and movie-like, but it feels like it's earned it, it's had a good enough build-up. But besides that, it's an intriguing film with compelling characters that also establishes the beginnings of PTA's style quite well, what with the tracking shots and the types of music used, and some of the dry, quirky, absurd humor. It's not as spectacular as his later films, obviously, but it's a great start. Then at number 6, I'm gonna go with Magnolia, which I know may be surprising because this is one of his most acclaimed films, and it is very impressive. It's just not 100% my thing, I suppose. Impressive is the best word to attribute to it. It is quite an achievement of a film. How all the storylines tie together, plot-wise and thematically, how a lot of it all kind of feels like one continuous scene, how it juggles so many characters and talented actors. I remember the John C. Reilly character being an interesting highlight, who, by the way, I used to just associate with bad Will Ferrell comedies, but I've recently come to appreciate he's super talented, comedically and dramatically, as long as he's not partnered with Will Ferrell or Adam McKay. We've also got Tom Cruise doing an Andrew Tate bit years before that was even a thing. A very funny performance.
Respect the cock.
Everyone's great. It's just not something I really want to watch again. Maybe that feeling like one continuous scene thing is a part of that, but at the end I just remember thinking, whew, okay, that was a lot. The thing that's most compelling here is the frog bit at the end, which is left up to the viewer's interpretation. I haven't seen the film in a minute, but I remember my interpretation at the time was that it was about the randomness of life and perspective, how when something crazy happens in the real world, it sort of snaps you out of your own personal bullshit and gives you more perspective on how big the world is and how insignificant what you're worrying about is. It's a bit like The Birds, where it sets it up as a romantic drama in the first half, and then suddenly all these fucking birds attack, and you forget all about whatever melodramatic stuff you had going on. I don't know, I thought that was an interesting message. And the one continuous scene feeling works to the film's advantage, because then the frog bit snaps the viewers out of that feeling, much like it snaps the characters out of their stuff. You know? Massive movie, just maybe a little too massive for my taste. At number 5, I've got The Master. Now granted, I should rewatch this, because during my first viewing, although it wasn't that long ago, I was dying from COVID while watching it, so that might have impacted my overall impression of it. It might be even better than I remember. That being said, I remember it being very good. Outside of the top 2, this might be PTA's most visually excellent film, and also features the best performances of any PTA movie. Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman are putting in 2 of the best performances of their careers here. This might be Philip Seymour Hoffman's best work. The scene between them here, insanely good, most memorable scene in the film, maybe top 3 scenes of any PTA movie ever. My problem with it, I think, lies in that inherent vice feeling, where it does kind of meander a bit, and there were a couple of points where I was thinking, okay, where are we again in the story with these characters? What's going on exactly? Now, part of that may have been the COVID, but just compared to how completely gripped and engaged I was with the films closer to the top of this list, I just wasn't 100% enveloped in this movie in the same way. That being said, there are still some very compelling themes, and some fascinating characters who are very well performed in a gorgeous looking movie. And on a rewatch, I might appreciate the depth of it more. Then at number 4, I'm gonna go with Punch Drunk Love. This was a similar case to Licorice Pizza, where on my first watch, I was not a very big fan. I just felt like it was trying too hard to be quirky. The opening scene mostly pissed me off. Oh, a car crash, and then a small piano, so artsy and random. And I think that colored the whole film for me. I viewed it through that lens where all the humor just felt forced, as did Sandler's performance. On the second watch, while I still think that opening's a little pretentious, I had a great time with this. I thought it was really funny and sweet. I've talked about the vibes a lot, but this movie with the camera work and the constant music does a great job of making it feel like you're in the Sandler character's mind. It's a bit frantic and chaotic and a little bit like you're having a panic attack the whole time, but weirdly not in an unpleasant way. The love story's quite sweet, Sandler puts in a career best performance, and as a movie, it's a nice respite in between these other films. It's nice that it's just 90 minutes. You're in and out. A bit of a breath of fresh air in this filmography. Also, I just respect that after making Magnolia, PTA said, I want to make basically the opposite of that. Let me make a 90-minute rom-com with Adam Sandler. I always appreciate it when filmmakers try to challenge themselves and want to do something different. And it paid off here. This is a very fun, charming movie. Is it objectively more cinematically brilliant than something like The Master or Magnolia? Maybe not, but personally, I think I would rank it higher, at least right now. Now at number 3, I've got PTA's second film, and the one that really put him on the map, Boogie Nights. If Hard 8 was an impressive debut, Boogie Nights is a phenomenally impressive sophomore effort. Hard 8 had that vibe of testing the waters, trying to show off a couple things, working with that small budget. Here, it feels like PTA is now fully confident and fully ready to show off. We're getting the great long takes like the famous opening, just incredible camera work and blocking throughout the film. It is excellently directed with so many great performances from the ensemble cast. I've said this about a lot of actors in this video, but this is the best Mark Wahlberg has ever been in a film. He nails the boyish charm to guy who gets lost in it all character arc. He has this very endearing quality to him, which honestly the whole film has. Despite being about the porn industry, you really get that misfit family vibe from these characters in this film, even if it is quite fucked up when you dig deeper into it. But that's just it. The movie goes from comedy to tragedy effortlessly. It's PTA's funniest movie for sure in my opinion, with so many memorable characters who have little gags that are hilarious. There are some real laugh out loud moments here that come from these characters, but it weaves that into the darker, dramatic elements of the film seamlessly. The Julianne Moore element I remember being particularly dark. There's a scene later on in the film in the back of a car that I remember being very upsetting. It's a difficult line to walk, a difficult tone to capture. this film nails it. All in all, it's a memorable, hilarious, dark film with a banger soundtrack and one of the best casts ever assembled. Burt Reynolds is so good here too, and it doesn't at all feel 2.5 hours long. Alright, in the runner-up spot, I don't know if this is surprising or controversial, but I've gone with Phantom Thread. I was really surprised by how much this spoke to me. Firstly, Daniel Day-Lewis is phenomenal here, as you'd expect. Many consider him to be the best actor of all time. Resume-wise, I don't know if I agree with that, but he's in the conversation, and man is his performance here something. Restrained and so real feeling. He and Vicky Creeps are marvelous in this. I've been trying to figure out if it's Creeps or Crepes, by the way. I don't know which one sounds worse if it's wrong. I also love the look and aesthetic of this film, from this pastel color palette to the actual fashion itself. As a film, it is extremely elegant, and that is juxtaposed well with some of its darker themes, as it becomes one of PTA's darkest films as it goes. There are themes of ambition here, love and hate, craft. There is so much depth to these characters. It's a film that achieves what the greatest films ever achieve, which is that it's only able to be understood by watching it. I can describe the plot and the characters and the mise-en-scène, but I can't describe the emotions that the sum of those parts made me feel. As a film, it is a massive achievement. And finally, number 1, I hate to go with the cliche pick, but There Will Be Blood is not just a great PTA film, it is an all-time great film. It might be a top 20 movie ever. It is the most impressive cinematic achievement of Paul Thomas Anderson's career. Again, some call Daniel Day-Lewis the best actor of all time, and this is his best performance. The best guy's best performance. The visuals in this movie, I mean, come on, man. Look at that. And the atmosphere it builds as well. So many brilliantly constructed scenes, such a fascinating character to follow, weirdly funny in a way that is impressively balanced with the film's more serious elements. It's got everything. It's an iconic film. As much as I love Phantom Thread and Boogie Nights, this stands alone in PTA's filmography, and I think will be his crowning achievement by the time his career ends. I think 100 years from now, this film will still be talked about as one of the greats in film history. So, that was my ranking of Paul Thomas Anderson's films. Do you agree or disagree with my list? What would yours look like? And are you excited for one battle after another? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram at BHL_Hudson, my Letterboxd at RealBHLHudson, and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.